In this video, I'll be demonstrating different ways you can create 3D plots using MATLAB and the options you have in customizing it however way you like. So to get started, we have an x vector going from -5 to 5, a y vector going from -5 to 5, and these are just vectors. So MATLAB has a built-in function called meshgrid, and this command defines a grid of x and y values. These are planar values defined on the x and y plane. So in order to define the function on the whole plane, we must define grid points using meshgrid. So it takes your vectors x and y into the input, and it outputs a matrix of x and y, as you can see here. You have an x and y matrix, and these are grid points. So each of these points respectively correspond to the x and y points on the grid, and it's on a plane as well. So once we've defined these grid points, we can go ahead and include a function. I chose a simple x squared plus y squared, just a parabola. Now remember, it is a matrix. X and y is a matrix, so we need to use the dot characters to perform a element by element operation. And what z outputs is, looking at the z here, are height values on the x and y grid, and these outputs will create a 3D plot. Now, looking at the plots here, I have different subplots: mesh, surf, contour, surf C, and contour 3. And in a minute, I'll be showing you what these three different kinds of plots look like. But these specific commands are for 3D plots. As you can see here, I have x, y, and z for each of these, whereas the plot command is only for 2 variable functions. The mesh plot and these ones I have here are for 3 variable functions for our z function here. So now looking at our plot, we have the mesh plot on the top left. It's just a transparent paraboloid, as you can see. The top right, the surf plot just colors in the plane on the surface of this graph. And the contour is just a simple contour graph, different colors representing different heights, so you can get a perspective of the depth of the graph. We also have surf C, which is really cool because it combines contour and surf in one image, so you can get more details looking at this. And then we have the contour 3 plot here, which is the 3D contour plot. As you can see here on this graph, it's a bit choppy and it's just blockish. That's because our intervals that we've defined are big, and we need more points in order to see a smoother surface. So we need to define smaller steps in our x and y vector. So let me just do that right here. Defining smaller steps right here. Let's say 0.1 and 0.1. And looking at our graph now, we have a smoother surface. There's less holes, they're filled in, and you can kind of see what's going on a lot better here. What's cool also is that you have this little toolbar on the top right, and this allows you to change the picture or the image however way you like to get different views of it. So clicking on different parts of this image, you get different options. Like, for example, if I click on this white area, I can change the title right here. I can fill in colors. I can turn the grid on or off. I can change the X label, X limits. I can change the y-axis, the label, the limits, as well as the z and the font. Another thing you can do is you can click on this little curved arrow, and you can rotate your graph just to get different perspectives and different views to see what's going on in your image. You can also do it with the contour and this one as well. And you can also click on this little thing right here, and what it will do is it will give you a more better perspective of the depth of this graph, the different colors representing the different depth, obviously. But this is also cool because you can actually see the numbers corresponding to those colors to see how deep or how steep your graph is. So I hope this demonstration was helpful. This was just a way to show you how you can do different 3D plots and how you can play around and change your graph however way you like. Hope you enjoyed the video.